Man, I was struggle busing for a second there. All right. Well, welcome to your room now. What do you think? Best Christmas gift ever?
Looks pretty dang good.
I think we did a pretty good job putting this thing
did.
together.
Mr. Fox approves.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, dude. If we can get it on a wide shot here, then let me see. Where's Mr. Fox? He's chilling up there. He's got his coffee. I got my root beer. I think we're good to go, man.
Me and the Fox are one.
Yeah, tell me about your day a little bit.
Well, finally made it to the dentist today on the correct day for my appointment. That was a win over yesterday's failed attempt. I thought I was literate.
Yeah,
I've been
dude, you
since I
showed
was
up,
like
and
5.
you weren't even supposed to have your appointment.
That's what happens when all your appointments have been on the same day, and then you change the day. So that's the way that went. But nonetheless, they had fun stabbing me with needles and doing what dentists do best.
There you go.
Which is causing pain.
Now we got New Year's. It's going to be a whole thing, man.
This year went too fast.
New year, a new podcast, new books, new job.
No, you are the one with the new job.
Yeah, that's
not
going,
me. Not me.
Well,
I'm still in the same place.
Well, it's going better though, right? You got new people there.
Some staff, and no longer working day by day by myself from open to close. So
that was pretty rough, dude. I don't
it's
know how
not a fun time.
No.
I'm used to it. It's the way it goes.
Yeah. Well, shoot.
This year went too fast.
Tell me about it. How was your year? What was your highlights and lowlights, I guess?
Nothing really that was one cataclysmic extreme or the other. Just the older you get, the faster the time goes.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice that. So I'm 33 now, and that's a good age, might I add. But I don't know. It's like once you're in your 20s, everything seems to be all right, things seem to be cool, and then times like, you have time on your side, and then you hit 30 and you blinked and you're like, where'd my 20s go? And now every day just flies by. It's like, hey, the new month started. I'm like, where'd the month go?
Yeah, we'll have January 1st here in about 26 hours, and you won't even know that the year has started before you'll be turning it over, and you'll already be into February.
Yeah.
As you noticed with stores that you were in today that are already fully decked with Valentine's Day stuff, and Christmas is literally 4 days ago. It's it's almost like they try to shove the calendar as fast as they humanly can.
I think God said something about him speeding up time towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's starting to feel like, but maybe it's just because I'm getting old. Maybe that's what it is.
Nah, I believe that there is something to that because
it feels like there's a time shift.
Things definitely do not last as long as they used to.
The days, like I wake up, it's dark. I'm off of work, it's dark. It's like you barely get a little bit of time of daylight, and then it's gone. But July comes around, and it's till like 9 or 10 o'clock, and you're like, oh, look, daylight. But that only lasts like 2 weeks, it feels like, and then back to darkness again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plus, being where we are here, we pretty much go from absolutely frigid to roasting, and then back again. There is no happy medium with the temperature around here.
Yeah, we
so
went from like 70 to like 20.
Quite literally in one day this week. Yes.
Weird. Yeah. I've never had that happen.
That one's a little extreme for even around here where the weather is as bipolar as you can get.
Yeah, for real. Well,
that's the way it goes. But New Year.
So, your year went good?
It could have definitely been worse, could have been better, but all in all,
my year was crazy. It started crazy. Okay, so I accidentally published a book. That was the start of the year. And then before the book actually came out, I was rushing to put a whole website together. We got that together, losingfaithbook.com. And it's kind of growing from now. It's it's progressing. But for a little bit there, it's crazy. Like for the first 3 months, it seemed like time just stood still and nothing was changing. And then the new job hit. Mm-hmm. And then I was trying to write a whole book in between that. And now the year is almost up, and I'm just looking back like, where did the time go?
It's kind of hard to believe you've already been in that new spot for 6 months.
Yeah, I can't believe we're a year in on a new book. Like that's old now.
Yeah.
If you haven't read it, it's good, but
because you literally released it on New Year Eve or New Year's Day. I can't remember which.
People could pre-order 5 days early, and then they should have landed on New Year's Day was what we were going for. But the reason I picked that day was because it It had been 5 years since I had stopped doing drugs. So we're coming up on 6 though, which is pretty crazy. It doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't. Like,
That's a good way to memorialize it, though.
yeah, every year, it helps me remember. Because a lot of people have tokens, but I sobered up here.
Yeah.
I didn't really go through like AA,
Nope.
and so I didn't really get tokens. Like, I even made my own digital token just to I don't know, it was something I was trying to do just so I could have it on my phone. But yeah, I don't know. Sober life is a lot different. When you're wrapped around drug life, it's like everything's to the next fix. So like you're just so worried about, oh, I got to get home so I can get high. Oh, I got to get home so I can do this.
You're living
Now
in a
it's-
constant state of suspense, and there's no peace.
Until you have that euphoria, which then fades very fast.
Yep.
And it's like you're just constantly trying to chase the same high,
Yep.
and it never
One
never is the same.
placebo to the next. Nothing
Yeah.
ever fills the spot.
Yeah, and then 3 or 4 years now that I started going into faith.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of started out honestly as soon as you came this way, but I mean, really getting into it, yeah, you're about 3.5, 4 years in.
I remember
on it.
I remember there was a day that I just noticed that I was a Christian. Most people don't know like when it happened. I just remember I was watching this video on my phone. It was called "Tired on the Inside." I think it was when Stephen Furtick was teaching that during COVID almost. So it's almost it's been about 5 years. So so I was sitting at work and there was nothing going on and I had that in my ear and something just related. Like I was so tired on the inside and I'd never heard anyone talk about it like that. And that was the first time I ever heard a pastor actually talking about things that related to my life. A lot of times like I'd go to church and it felt like it was kind of like, I don't know, washed. I don't know how to describe it, where it just didn't feel like it was relatable. Like the Bible was such a distant time frame.
Well, it was forced, and nothing was connecting to you personally, so there was
Yeah.
no way, there was no internalization of it. It was just sound.
And that's the thing is like when you don't relate to the Bible or you can't tie into the Bible and you don't see yourself in it, why would you need a savior that's in the Bible?
Hmm.
And it wasn't until I was trying to change my life and I felt like I'd hit rock bottom. I mean, moving in here was not rock bottom, thank you, but I mean,
Good to know.
I was at a point where like my apartments were falling through. I was having notice after notice that like, what was it? What are those called?
Eviction notices.
Eviction notices. Yeah, at this point we were just using them to write like notes on paper. Like that's because I just kept setting them on my door. And we would pay it like 3 days later, but like they wouldn't even give us
Oh yeah, no
like,
grace.
a little bit of a time frame to like put our paycheck together. So it was struggling, and I'm grateful for you, but yeah, I don't know, man. Time has been flying by. 5 years have gone by, and sometimes I still feel like I have a hard time hearing from God, but I think that's when I lean into Him the most. When it's the quietest.
Well, and typically, the thing that no one ever wants to admit is when we're not hearing from Him, it's not that He stopped talking.
Yeah, it's that we stop listening.
And sometimes, yes, but sometimes it's a matter of we're just listening to other things more.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
could be in the middle of New York City where there's 20,000 sounds at any given second of the day. But what your mind is trained and honed into listening for, say you're somebody that's obsessed with money and you're walking down the street and there, it's New York City. There's 500 people in any block at a given moment of the day.
Yeah,
Someone drops a handful of change. Who do you think's going to hear that coin hit the ground?
a person that's tuned into it.
Exactly. Or maybe you got someone that's acoustically minded and maybe they really like music, and in that crowd of people there's somebody walking along, maybe they're just, freestyling and singing. Who's going to hear that? Person that's tuned into that. So
The sheep know my voice, they say.
Mhm.
Why does he always call us sheep? I went to Woolfest. Let's start off. I went to Woolfest. I kind of get it now. They're dorky, dude.
sheep are in the livestock realm just about the most impressionable animals known to mankind. They they can be dumb as a rock.
Yeah, fair. Some of them end up
or
on roofs, right?
never had a sheep on goats.
Goats
Will
go
get
on
on
a roof?
Yes,
And
goats will climb anything that's accessible
they're the
because
same family, right?
no, not in the least.
Goats and sheep are different?
They're as different as different comes.
Okay, all right.
But from an impression stance, sheep can literally be, no pun intended, led astray because they're literally just so gullible.
Mm.
But the older that they get, if they have a caretaker, a shepherd, if you will,
A David.
or
Who else was shepherds?
take your pick.
There was a lot of shepherds in
Yeah.
the Bible. Like it seems like he used a lot. Moses was a shepherd.
Mm.
Yeah.
David's obviously much more prevalent as a shepherd boy, just because of his entire lineage and who he became.
Yeah.
But the older that they get, especially if you find one that's 4 or 5 years old, getting them to trust anyone other than the person who has raised them is next to impossible. They will absolutely just dead stop whatever they're doing and stand and not move. You could take them to the middle of nowhere, and if the person who brought them there that they trust disappeared somehow magically out of sight, they would not move from where they were left.
That's how he could leave the 99 to go get one.
Correct.
Huh. I never knew that.
Very correct, because they will take the commands they are given and stay.
You know, Jesus gave us commands. It took me a long time to kind of understand what those commands were. It was like, love one another. And I'm like, I don't know about that. People drive me crazy. But
because he preached everything that was against the flesh.
yeah. And
It's death
not
to
easy.
it's death to self.
Yeah, that's a hard one, isn't it?
It's the hardest one out of all of them because it goes against every ounce of your normal fiber of existence that you basically depend on for day-to-day survival when you're operating in self.
Yeah. I operated in self quite a bit as a young man. I wonder how much different my life would have been if I had followed God sooner.
I've asked myself that many times, and there's no way to know it. But the course we took and the path we were on,
He uses it.
he causes all things to work together for those who love him.
Intended to harm me, but God intended it for good.
Exactly. No matter what it is, he will always bring it full circle, and that's the best thing. Even when you screw up beyond, you find yourself in the wretch of conditions that you never imagined at any point in your life you could be at. And he looks at it, and parenthetically, I think he just kind of giggles because we think, oh, the sky's falling. There's no way out of this. And he's like, yeet. And somehow he just works that puzzle piece and that labyrinth and
That's all
poof.
the pieces of. He's a
He
master
can put
chess
you right.
player.
Oh, he can, yes.
I don't think I'd want to play chess with God.
No.
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 That wouldn't be a good one. I'd lose
No.
real quick. Well, okay, omnipotent. So, like, he'd know my moves.
When you know the beginning from the end, you can work everything in reverse. So that's the one.
Don't you wish you had that superpower?
Yeah, it would be nice. Yes.
They say the Holy Spirit can help us with that. Go gift of prophecy.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Foreknowledge, gift of discernment. Those two things going hand in hand will pull you in directions that will keep you from being in places that you definitely don't need to be.
Okay, hold on. That reminded me of something, though. Sometimes God places you in places with people that you think you shouldn't be around because you're supposed to be the light.
Yes.
Let me give you the context here. So I was working construction in Idaho, and I remember a lot of the people that I was working with were like really into like drugs, and they brought stuff from like Colorado to Idaho. No name dropping here, but like they were not doing what they should, and then they were just going to work. Okay, and I remember I was sitting there, and I wasn't a Christian, but like I still felt like I knew God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, why do you keep putting me with all these people if you want me to be better? And then it took me forever to realize he kept putting me with those people, not because I needed to be better, because I was supposed to like help show them what better looked like. And that took a lot of time for me. Like when we were at Tempur-Pedic, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, why am I in this job that I hate so much? Like, why do you keep putting me in these things? And it's because I needed to have one conversation with one person that took 3 years to get there. But he had set the piece in place. And then master chess player. You know what I mean? So I don't know. His timing is impeccable, and I get frustrated really easily, but it's because I'm not seeing the whole picture.
You get frustrated really easy because you have the patience of a 5-year-old on Christmas Eve.
They say patience is a virtue.
Yeah, and it's also a necessity because without it, you can die.
Well,
It's
let's talk about different time frames. I grew up with Amazon, where if the package doesn't show up in a day and it's in 2 days, you're like, "What's going on, Amazon? I pay for Prime." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you can have anything in your doorstep in like 5 minutes. Now they're gonna have drones do deliveries. So
And I did not. Yes, that's right, folks. I am old enough to remember when TV went off at midnight and there was a little rainbow of lines that popped up. The national anthem played, and that was it until 6 o'clock the next morning.
I'm old enough to remember the Rainbow Wheel of Death on Max.
It's not the
Yeah.
same, but okay.
It feels like it.
All right.
It feels like it's a different age, doesn't it?
It is compared to the age that I was when you were born into this world versus when I was born into this world. Yes, though technology is a phenomenal thing,
Yeah.
and the fact that I can drive home from work and talk to an AI robot on my phone
Yeah,
with
if no one
full
wants to call
in-depth
you-
conversations, like honestly better than you can have with some people.
Yeah.
Just if you want to just broaden your horizons of knowledge, or if you just want to vent, you now can literally interact with a computer that has access to every database of knowledge in the known world. When, as a child, if you wanted access to the knowledge of the known world, you either got yourself a Encyclopedia Britannica,
Yeah.
or you went to a library and you learned a thing called the Dewey Decimal System.
So I'm not gonna be that guy that doesn't say I don't use it. I use it. I use it often. I think I had like 31,000 prompts this year on the recap from ChatGPT. However, it still doesn't mean that I trust it. And I feel like it's a really easy way to slip up and slide into conversations with ChatGPT or like Grok. Is it Grok?
Grok.
Okay. Instead of having your conversations with God.
And it could, it has enough of,
It has a personality.
it has a
And it builds
personality,
its personality around you.
and it learns to mirror you.
Which is
so
creepy because it's like your best friend at that point.
That's where I guess for lack of a better word, the seduction
Yeah.
comes in, because it becomes comfortable. Now, with the way that both you and I use it, is that ever an issue that's going to be a thing? No, because we beat it to death for knowledge. That's literally what we use it for 24/7.
I was doing some research on a book that I'm working on. It's called Quantum Level, but I wanted to understand how quantum computing worked, which is normally a really hard topic.
Oh, and
You
it
need to go
can
to
dumb
college.
it down for you in a heartbeat.
Dude, it was breaking things down. I'm like, no way. It has to be at sub-zero temperatures, and if it goes a little bit higher, the whole thing can fall apart. And I'm like, I didn't know this.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really, really good. But like I said, I try to expand my knowledge. But again, the trust factor of like, if I'm asking it a faith-based question, like if I'm stressed out, I'm like, what should I do in this? I feel like that's where the problem happens.
And it could. Now granted, I don't know, because I've not really delved into AI in this facet, but knowing that it learns to mirror you as a person, I have a feeling that if you haven't built it with this narcissistic, agnostic approach to things, it's probably going to give you exactly what it has mirrored out of you.
Yeah.
So if you're going to it with faith-based, faith this, faith, and you bounce something off of it, potentially scripture-related, it's probably going to feed back to you something, because it has the wherewithal to give a cognitive answer, which is absolutely terrifying, but the accuracy is actually there.
Going back to like old times, when you had to do research, you had to go to like libraries. You had to scroll through magazines and newspapers on those little rolly things. They're like page flippers. Is that what they're called? What were they called?
I have no clue what exactly
you know what I'm
you're talking about. Are you talking
like
about
if you're scrolling, like, okay, so like people were looking through like newspapers. I was watching some horror movie like when I was younger, and she was like trying to find some information. She was like scrolling through something, and it was like a backlit page with like a magnifying glass, and it would like flip the pages for you.
That sounds higher tech than anything I touched in the last
doesn't matter.
40
Anyway,
plus years. But
it's
anyhow.
fine. Anyway, so you had to go to a library, then you had to go to encyclopedias, That's where we got Encyclopedia Brown. Shout out Encyclopedia Brown. That was a good book. Um, and then computers start coming around, and then you got Google. Now Google is also kind of tricky because like the other day, I found out that if you Google, do Christmas lights cause cancer? The answer is yes. But if you Google, do Christmas lights cause cancer? Then it's like not all Christmas lights cause cancer, and like it jades its perspective based on the question that you ask. So now everybody's right all the time, which is weird too. And so when you're doing your research, say I want to do it research on who really won the Civil War, right? You know what I mean? Whatever side I've chosen, it's going to tell me the answer based on what I thought. But if you actually had to go through the research and like back in how things used to be, you might come to a different conclusion because what's your source? But it always goes back to what's your source. And that's why when we're leaning into God and it's like, what's your source there? When I was dealing with feeling like God wasn't around and faith felt like it was falling away, I was looking at like, what's my source? Well, I'm surrounding myself with people that were doing drugs, or I was surrounding myself with music that wasn't helpful to my ears and leading me into different directions. And it's like, you always have to get back to that source. And so with AI, I get fearful that we're spending so much time with that we're separating ourselves from the spirit.
I could see it becoming a thing for certain people because if they develop a dependency upon it, a reliance
Mm-hmm.
upon it, you're definitely going to jade your perspective, and that's probably not to sponsor or to give light to one AI product over another. I have definitely seen how that ChatGPT can do that much more. That ChatGPT is your yes man, hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally have to tell it to be objective with you in order for it to not just be yes, 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 of course, yes, you're right, you're right, you're right. Whereas Grok, Grok has no filters, to say the very least.
That's fair.
And if you pop off something that is just out in left field, it will absolutely call you on the carpet in a heartbeat and be like, nope, you could not be more wrong. You're so out of touch with what this topic is that you're not even remotely in the same ballpark anymore.
That's weird. Hold on 1 second. Ah, it's my grandma. We're going to have to call her back. She's probably wondering about the Christmas card. I'm going to put my phone on silent. Shout out grandma. Well, yeah. I don't know. Whoa, sorry. I'm so sorry. I got distracted. I saw a squirrel. Let's run this back.
Shiny.
Yeah, my phone. I thought I told myself I was going to turn it off, but I totally forgot.
You have failed miserably at this.
Yeah,
but that's
okay.
all right. We'll be okay. This isn't Joe Rogan, so we don't have a cult-like following.
Hey, you
just
think
yet,
one day
so.
we'll be on Joe Rogan?
I don't know.
That'd be cool.
I could definitely do it. I like the guy.
Shout out on Joe Rogan, man.
Yep.
He stood firm during COVID.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of things going around. Again, misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Hey, which one's right?" And at least he kept it objective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people call him crazy.
Yeah, but he brought a whole lot of things to light that a lot of people would have just otherwise just, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Poof, and then it disappears. And he was like, no, hold on. We're not letting this just fade off into the ether.
I like that he'll have a conversation with anyone though. He'll have a conversation with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he'll have one with Elon. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, he doesn't
he
care.
takes it from all sides, and again, it goes back to what's your source? You know?
Yep.
I like that.
He doesn't have to question when he talks to people. He knows where he's at in whatever the topic is, and he's just there to open a table up for discussion.
I was always excited to. I don't know. I always wanted to start a podcast. I never really knew what I would do a podcast on, but it's cool that we actually have one now, that we're able just to sit down, have conversations, lean into God, grow from there.
So what's your goals for this new year? New you?
All right. Well, project-wise or like personality or personal growth?
All around.
Okay. Project-wise, we got a lot going on. Broken Range, just finished the final draft. Okay, rough draft was done in like July.
Yeah.
And I was like, it'll take me like 2 months to do the final. Dude, when I was going through it, there was so much like details, and I'm like, you really gotta tone into some of this stuff. Like I feel like I was missing so much, so I started rewriting. But the final draft finally finished. So We're gonna be releasing that in May, which I'm super excited about. So May, Broken Range comes out. I really want to put some like merch stuff with it. So like not just do any spoilers, but like some T-shirts that go with it, and maybe some stuffed animals that go with some of the animals that were there. I really do believe that animals ground us. You know what I mean? That can help like bring us if we're having a bad day. Like God has put those there
1,000,000%.
for us. You
Those
know what I
little
mean?
guys serve a real purpose.
Yeah, and so it was cool to be able to like write that in. I got to memorialize one of my favorite cats, Tess, inside of it. When she passed away, it left a hole. So I don't know. She had such a personality, and it's crazy that I actually got to capture it inside of a book. So that was cool. So I'm excited for that one to come out. We got the podcast now. We're gonna be doing more sermons. I'm excited to kind of go into more sermons, and I don't know when, but next year at some point, Losing Faith 2 is supposed to come out, which is the Babylon Trials. So that one's supposed. Actually, I know when that's supposed to come out. It's supposed to come out 12/31. So,
You basically got a year.
well, I already got 4 chapters done with it.
Yeah, that's true. You're
And
not starting from scratch.
What's really nice about it, I hate to say it, the book is writing itself.
Mhm.
Okay, like the cool thing with the Losing Faith books, which I loved writing so much, was that I was looking at a story in the Bible and then I was comparing it to my life. That's the main thing that it was. It was like, and that goes back to what we were talking about. Is like how, if you don't see yourself in the Bible, right, and you're not looking for Jesus in the Bible, you're not going to get anything from it. Okay, so when we're doing the Babylon trials, we're following the story of Daniel. Now, I'm not prophetic, okay, and I'm still trying to learn some stuff, but I've been able to do a ton of research and like study stuff with Perry Stone about it, and it's like there's so much. I don't even know where it came from. One night I was listening to Psalms and I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I started writing a psalm, which I thought was really weird. I didn't know like you were supposed to do that or not. And I was like, I don't know, but it was like I was writing to God. So, you know what I mean? And then that spiraled into a new book. And I wasn't even planning on doing a second book. I thought this should be the end. I didn't know if I was going to go back to preaching or not. So, yeah, it's kind of cool to see how that goes. But yeah, so we got that going out too. I don't know. How do I have time for anything?
I'm not sure, but
It's crazy.
you'll manage
Yeah,
one way or another.
it should be all
It
right.
takes time.
Well, I just enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work.
That's the key to something being effortless.
I know what you're going to be doing this year.
What's that?
You're going to get into your printing.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so if you don't know, we do a photography business called Foster Brothers Photography. Now, originally, which we probably will still do, this was taking photos of people and places and things like cars, etc. Okay, but what we found out is that people have phones now, and so they don't take as many pictures. There's not as many people doing like
Everybody
family
is a
photos.
photographer.
Yeah, and so we were like, well, what can we do with this? Like, how can we do this? And you met someone. I'm gonna let you tell the story.
Yeah, so God definitely knows how to do alignment with people, places, and things. He's a master chess player. We'll leave it at that, to say the very least, to try to put it into perspective. But come in contact with an individual at work.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I kept telling you to leave.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I kept saying you need to quit this job. You're like, no, I'm
Yep.
gonna stick it out.
Yep, and it's and things have progressively, as ironic as it may sound, having just come out of 4 or 5 weeks of open to close shifts that were
Brutal.
the reason I literally left an employer at one point in my life. Things now are finally starting to settle a little bit, but long and short of it, met an individual, and the two of us, our personalities clicked incredibly well. And went and picked up a very, very nice 24-inch professional grade Epson printer, which is designed exclusively for, it's a photographer's dream,
Yep.
to say the least.
For what you take photos of,
Yes.
you'll be able to do a lot with it.
Tons and tons. I pretty much specialize in, I do portrait photography for people, but landscape photography is by far my niche when it comes to the photography world, and this printer is capable of literally turning out anything and everything photography related.
From canvas to prints to what
Doesn't matter,
not
paper or vinyl.
Can you do the metal prints or no? That's dye
No,
sublimation.
that's dye sublimation. Those
get
suckers
there.
come off of a totally different
That's what
machine.
that one is, right?
Yep, that's what's behind you right there on the left.
Yeah.
But
You'll be able to do those though, like Mr. Fox up there.
That's step one. And then sometime this year, we will also probably be acquiring something in the Roland series of
Sticker.
printers to expand into the sticker business.
I didn't realize that the sticker market was so good. But then again, I buy stickers like they're going out of style. Like if
Stickers
you
are
look at my
life.
laptop, that thing is covered
Yep.
in stickers.
Well, and you look anywhere in any business in any state. It doesn't matter where you go, especially if you go on vacation like we do,
Yeah.
down to the mountains, Gatlinburg area, Pigeon Forge. You take your pick. It does not matter what the business is. If they have a brick and mortar location somewhere in that facility,
Yeah.
there are stickers for sale.
Yeah.
And
Well-
you've got a couple designers down there in that area that do one particular style and are moving in excess of $2 million a year just in.
Are you going to go back
teeny
into
tiny little
custom
pictures.
frame business?
Definitely going to go back into the custom frame business because now that I can print canvas and stretch myself, I can frame that sucker out however I please.
I think you should go back to engraving. So I remember, I don't know, was it Christmas or something like that, or my birthday, something? You gave me this like really cool frame that had Bible verses on it,
Mm-hmm.
and I get to hang them around my wall, and I thought that was super cool.
Yep, they turn out incredibly well. Laser is, of course, ridiculously clean.
Yeah,
So it looks like, you spent hundreds of hours on something that a
yeah.
laser engraver can pop out for you in a matter of 10, 15 minutes, and poof, it's a custom piece that,
Did you always have like a creative mindset?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
When you were a kid, did your dad have that?
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. His creative mindset basically worked like a steel trap. So it didn't matter what it was, whether it was getting ready to put out garden for the first time early in the year.
Yeah, your dad was a farmer,
More or less. I mean, he was a construction worker by trade.
military.
And, yep, came out of the Army in 1955, served in the Korean War.
Was it Vietnam or Korea that was rough?
They were both rough. Vietnam was a completely senseless war.
That was rough.
Yeah, two totally different issues between those wars. But
What started the Korean War?
I would be
Isn't Korea
absolutely
people, like,
lying
super,
if I
super?
told you what it was, but I truthfully do not know enough about it. And
Super
I
nice.
should, but I don't.
North Korea or South Korea?
That time, I don't think they were separated.
Oh, okay, so
Nearly
it was all
certain.
one thing.
Yeah, you had a lot,
Mm.
and then you had other places that were separated at that time that then became one.
Hmm.
But anywho, from the creative mind standpoint, he was an individual that, if he wanted to pick up a guitar and play
Yeah.
a song from start to finish without a single page of music in front of him, he could do that because he could play by ear. Totally unfair. I can play the radio. That's what I can play.
Hey,
I
I was terrible at music production, but I tried. All right.
You tried.
Okay, sound engineering, I'm good at. You tell me to put like a beat together, I can do it, but like, is it gonna be good? It's not. It's not.
That's just not your niche.
It's not my niche. And I was trying
Yep.
to force a niche.
And that kind of actually transcends into a whole lot of things for you.
Mm.
Because if you look at the first, I can't say specific number of years of your life, but from when you were in what I call cognitive function, which is when we're no longer a child, we're moving into adulthood, making our own decisions,
I was making terrible.
becoming an adult,
Yeah.
like early teens through mid 20s. That was kind of the crutch for you because the drug thing came along, but you have this tendency to get absolutely harpoon laser focus on something.
I think it's ADHD.
It's not even ADHD. You make ADHD look like a recreational choice.
I think it's
But
ADHD.
you
I don't
can
know.
grab a hold of something, and my God,
I can lock in for hours upon hours.
literally.
But okay, let me give you a context as to why. When I was a kid, all right, and my parents kind of split up, my mom was sick, and so I was always having to constantly take care of her. Well, when I was not taking care of her, that's when I actually got to breathe. And I was like, okay, so I'd lock in. I'd lock in on video games for like 8-10 hours. After I found out that video games weren't as, what's the term?
Fulfilling.
Fulfilling. Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess would be the better word. I was like, I need to figure out something else. So then I would pick a project,
Yep.
and I would lock into a project, or I'd lock into music, sound engineering, something, because I had to fill that void. It was constantly a void that I was filling.
Well, you were it's yes, and the substance of what needed to fill that void was not there.
And I felt like if I wasn't creating, I was dying. But you know what's funny is now that I look at like God, like he was the creator of all things.
Yep.
And it's cool because like I have this creating mindset, and I know I got it from him. You know what I mean? I like it's a gift that he's given me.
100%. I mean,
Now, if I use it for good or bad, that's
your
a
choice.
But
that is your choice.
that's why I think now it's like the projects are kind of blessing themselves.
Yes.
God is blessing them because it's leaning towards him. We're pointing to a creator instead of pointing to self.
Yep.
And that's when things kind of clicked.
And anytime everything is just self, 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 regardless of how good your intentions may have been at the time that you were driving down that path, whatever it may have been, it ultimately turns to destruction.
It does.
No matter, it doesn't matter. Does not matter what it is. You could be a business person that's tycoon minded, and money absorbs you.
Yeah.
You could be someone who, you want to be a people pleaser, and you just give, or you try to make this happen for someone. You always want to be this for someone, and at the end of the day, what happens? You self-exhaust and you run out because you're pouring out of your cup and nothing is pouring back in.
Do you know what's weird? So working on Broken Range after Christmas, I took 3 days. All right, and so after you would leave for work, which was like 11, to right before you get back home, like 30 minutes before you get back home, so I could clean up a little bit. What is that, like 9 hours?
Yeah, I mean, you were locked in on that for those 3 days because you took a little bit extra. You got the extra day off from work and stuff.
Yeah.
And you literally, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I locked in. And
I would be blind as a bat
Here's the
staring at a
crazy
screen
thing,
as
though.
long as you did.
Here's the crazy thing, though. Each book that I've been putting out, whether it's Losing Faith, Broken Range, I feel like I've been trying to put Christian aspects into it. And so it feels like I'm not filling from my own cup. I think that's why I'm not able to run dry, because most people would go insane, go tired, be like, I can't keep doing this. Like, at some point, you'd run burnout.
Yep.
I feel burnout when I'm not doing something for God. Like, when I'm not working with God and we're not working on a project, or I'm not, like, filling myself with, like, Bible.
There's no satisfaction in
Dude, it's empty.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a cataclysmic turning point for a ton of individuals, which honestly ends up being a bit of a graduating ground for people.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, you could have somebody, for Elon Musk, and I don't know that man's spirituality. It's none of my business. It's his life, not mine. If he gets up in the morning and there's a trade deal that goes through, or one of his stocks pops an extra $200 billion in an account for him, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Now, when he was a 18 or 20-year-old man and he was first making moves like that, because he's obviously an unimaginable creative mind and ridiculously brilliant, I'm quite sure that the first few times he's seen $1 million go into an account, he probably absolutely lost his mind.
Yeah.
And now that money to him is like if you walk across the road and you see a quarter
We got a
laying on the
train
ground.
going by.
Yes.
Let's
We live by a
pause.
railroad track, guys. So.
Yeah, we'll pause. Well, I can pull this out. Okay, the train is gone. The train is gone.
That was a long one, to say the very least.
How many cars was that?
I would say probably upwards of 150.
That was pretty good.
They can only be so many miles long because of the sidetrack, but that sucker was probably just about max capacity for passing.
I don't know much about trains, but some of them horsepower. Like, imagine trying to pull that much stuff with like a F-150. You couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, you aren't going to budge. But
No.
not for those. They'll hook up 4 or 5 engines, and the thing is, once you get it in motion, it's
Stays
almost
in motion.
effortless because it's huge
Yeah.
in the amount of weight that it has.
There you go. Well, sorry about the train. My
Yeah,
bad.
it's all right.
And we knew that might be a problem when we
Yeah.
started this.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But back to the topic at hand, New Year. The one thing that kind of crossed my mind, and we talked briefly about this earlier, was we go into, everybody, New Year, new me, new this, new that, all these plans, all these expectations, whatever it may
the
be.
New You. I think I got
The
that
new
book on the
you.
shelf.
Yeah, the New Year. I'm sure it's up there somewhere.
Yeah.
But one of the stories that probably sticks with me the most, and it's funny because you did mention it earlier for our podcast today, was Lot's wife. You know, they're coming out of Sodom and Gomorrah, and
Give a
the
little bit of context of Sodom and Gomorrah
that
for
was a
people that don't know
land
this.
that was absolutely riddled with every sin humanly imaginable.
It's like Vegas.
100%. It's
like
it's
Vegas.
like Vegas with Satan as a personal host at every casino.
Gotcha.
That would be the easiest way to wrap up Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay.
And as they left, she only had one instruction. They were spared from complete and total being spared, I should say, from complete and total annihilation from God. I mean, this is two places that he literally burned to the ground where that you couldn't even recognize the ashes.
They were like neighboring cities, right?
very close,
Yeah.
very close together.
Yeah.
And the only thing that she was told to do was to not look back. And it seems like that's a very simple command,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word. And I mean, it is in simplicity. It's a very simple function. You know, when we're driving down the road, we don't stare in the rear view. Why? You need to see what's in front of you, not what's following behind you.
Yeah.
Now, do we still glance in the rear view from time to time?
Yeah, nostalgia slips in, man. Even on my TikTok feed, I get nostalgia. What are those posts with the music from Donkey Kong?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, transcends you back into a totally different day and time. But that particular portion of Scripture speaks to so many things in one action that it's almost incomprehensible.
Yeah.
You have a woman who was being granted mercy, a man and a woman, Lot and his wife.
They were related to Abraham.
Yeah.
Right? That was like his cousin or something? Or brother?
It's a descendant. I would have to look at the lineage. I can't remember the exact relationship, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, being granted mercy from a situation where that not just death, I mean, we're talking nuclear fallout grade annihilation was being imposed. Clearly, if they were being granted mercy to come out of that, there was something much better on the other side that they were going to go into if they just followed what they were told to do.
Yeah.
You still had a marriage place there because you had a husband and wife there, Lot and his wife,
Yeah.
that was being spared from everything. They were being shown favor.
Probably because of Abraham.
Undoubtedly,
Yeah.
yes. You are a very, very elite individual to find that kind of favor in that day and time.
That makes sense.
But I say all of that to wrap it into the concept of, obviously, Lot's wife disobeyed. She looked back. She was turned into a pillar of salt. So immediately she's gone. So Lot has to press on.
See, in my brain, I didn't know if she died or not. I didn't know. I thought a pillar of salt in my brain was metaphoric as like, you know how like sometimes when you go into nostalgia, you look back at it and you're like, everything feels so much better back then. Like I wish I was a kid again, or I wish that I could go back to that job. Or even like the Israelites, I wish I could go back to Egypt. I thought it was more of like a metaphor of like being salty, of like, man, I really wish I could go back to that. I like that so much better.
Yeah. No, in this particular day and time, God was quite literal. Like, especially early biblical times.
Yeah.
If he said, you know, if the rocks could cry out, they would, that wasn't just a parable. You know, when he told Moses to talk to the rock for water versus striking the rock, there's very real reasons that he did those things, which were all obedience based. Because for God, obedience is far better than sacrifice. He doesn't need your sacrifice anymore. That's why that there had to be a salvation way made. Because if sacrifice was still pleasing to God, we'd all still be out here, you know, killing doves and sheep and whatever else, you know, we needed to take to the temple for the high priest to put on the altar. But he grew tired of that because there was no, it was just a Band-Aid for something that just became a bigger and a bigger and a bigger wound. But with Lot's wife being disobedient and turning to a pillar of salt and losing out on an unimaginable promise that they had clearly been given,
Yeah.
it transposes to today so easily that it's a little bit mortifying. And I think people just bypass it completely. We go forward, and yet so many times, whatever constantly was our demise, or whatever we thought we needed, or whatever we thought we wanted, we just keep right there in that rear view. And we never get out of sight of those things that we think we just have to have, or just had to have at a point in time within our life. And it could be absolutely anything.
Yeah.
It could be money. It
That's how
could
it was
be
for addiction for me.
100%. Addiction is a perfect example of that. And it's, you don't even do it so many times because of how it makes you feel in that moment. It's because you get this dependency upon it.
And you keep trying to go back to it.
And you try to go back to it so that you can re-experience what it was like for the first time all over again, which is what takes people from lightweight drugs to deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper drugs, because you grow an immunity to that stuff to a degree.
Your body starts getting used to it. You know what's crazy is we called the podcast Unchained, right? And to do that, you have to learn how to move forward. And that's hard for some people. It was hard for me.
Yeah.
Because familiarity is so comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
And when we're stuck in the familiarity of things, and we're like, I'm comfortable with this. I know what this is. And God's like, hey, I need you to walk on water with me, like Peter, right? He's like, hey, step out onto the water. It's scary.
What's terrifying when you're charting unknown ground in any scenario, because it's that feeling of controlling the variable. Yeah. And when you no longer, fight or flight kicks in real quick whenever control is absent from the chat. And when you get into a situation where you're literally a fish out of water or somewhere, just like when you take a new job and you don't know up from down.
Yeah.
You feel like the Lone Ranger because
you don't know what's going on.
You don't have a grounding mechanism.
You know, he does his best work with people that don't know what they're doing.
100%, because their personal influence doesn't get in the way.
Because they have to listen.
Yep.
If you don't know what you're doing and you're like, I don't know, turn to him every time.
Yep.
Every time. And he'll guide you. He always will.
Yep. Without fail, we get in our own way more often than not, and the best thing we can humanly do is to just shut up.
Yeah.
Hence the reason we don't hear him, because it's too much of us talking. And it may not just be you, but it's all of the euphemisms, it's all of the influences, it's all of the distractions that have become a part of you that become the superseding voice versus what your soul and spirit need to be listening for. They're drowning out.
Yeah, that's why prayer is so important. You know, when I was first starting out, and I still sometimes feel like I don't pray right, you know what I mean? But, like, just taking the time with them, just sitting down, even if it's, like, just a chair that's empty and you're just staring at the chair, and you just start talking to him like he's there. It goes back to that whole best friend scenario. If you talk to your best friend every day, he's going to know what's going on in your life. He's going to know who to stay away from. Go this way. Don't go that way.
Yep.
Right? Same thing with him. And if you turn back to him, what's your source?
Yep.
If you know what your source is and it's always him, you're getting living water.
Yep.
And you're able to move new. And when it feels scary, you have something to lean on. And he's going to be your guiding light.
Yep.
And that's the crazy thing. And it takes a lot of work to separate from addiction or sexual immorality. There's so many different things that become idols in our life. And it happens so fast. You don't even realize that you're doing it. It's just like when they made the golden calf, right? It's like we just want something that we can talk to that's here, that's present with us. And so we replace what's not present with us or doesn't feel like is present with us. And he's like, I've been here the whole time. It goes back to footprints in the sand.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, his patience, it never runs out.
No.
And believe me when I tell you, he will keep you in the wilderness as long as he needs to. He kept a generation circling the same mountain.
Worst GPS
They didn't
ever.
have Garmin's back then, but man,
They had a
at
pillar of
some
light
point,
and a cloud.
wouldn't you have thought that had been, yo, Moses, man, this tree looks really familiar over here. after 40 years of circling the same pile of dirt?
I don't know. He fed him every day.
There
too.
was a lot of stupid in that particular group of people, but it was because it was an ingrained lifestyle having lived under Pharaoh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they spent 40 years in the wilderness and they had the promised land by way of land, not that far from where they physically walked out of.
They say in towards the end times, it's gonna be like the days of Noah,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
You're either on the boat or you're not.
yeah, and you're going back to Lot's wife and Sodom and Gomorrah and how
Yep.
the world was living back then,
Mhm.
and we look in today's world on how the world is living, and it's like you really can't sit on the fence anymore. You got to pick a side.
Yeah.
And sometimes that side is scary, being like, hey, this is completely new to me. This is new territory. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people that can help.
Yeah, because the alternative, just as in the days of Noah, was if you weren't on the boat, it was complete death and annihilation to an entire world
And if you're wondering what the boat
of
is,
people.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus is the boat.
He made it a lot simpler second time around.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't have made it under the 600 and some books of the law. I would have been
637.
I do not remember how
something like
many,
that.
but
yeah,
you
there
know,
was a lot of laws.
it was about as capable of being followed as unless you Jesus. That was the only way you were going to follow all the books of the
Because
law.
you knew them because you wrote them.
100%.
Yeah.
When he came to fulfill the law, which is exactly what he did. But yeah, you're either on the boat or you're off. And the saddest part is, I think even then, had that boat needed to be big enough to hold 500,000 people, it would have.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It just needed to hold a handful because it was such a wicked and a perverse generation. Now, granted, in that day and time, you had everything roaming the earth from, fallen demons that had somehow entered the human race. I mean,
the Nephilim,
you had a whole you had a systemic mess that was the likes of which this world wouldn't even begin to comprehend. However, it's just a new level, new devil.
Yeah.
It's the devil is the master of repetition. He doesn't ever have anything new. He just becomes a little more cunning and a little more crafty to make whatever was attractive to the allure of sin 2,000 years ago to making it attractive today.
Yeah.
That's all he does. He just puts a new polish on it and garners attention.
Lipstick on a hog.
Yep, lipstick on a hog, taking it to market,
That's
making
my
it
favorite
sell.
term
Yep.
right now in the country. Yeah. I don't know. When you're thinking about the new you, do you ever get scared about the new you or what that might look like or how you think God might shape you, or do you try to keep an open mind and just let it happen?
I've learned to keep, having been bounced off the walls for just a few more years than you have on this planet.
Yeah.
The School of Hard Knocks is a very harsh teacher. And it will polish off those jagged edges pretty daggone swift. Hence the reason you see the patience factor that I have now.
Oh, you had your Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego moment.
Yeah, there's been a few of those. We'll tell about that one on a talk here at some point.
Yeah.
But age and time is a very, very, very good teacher in concept with, learning what will matter and will not matter.
True.
And I'm thankful that I was born into a family that had a ton of people much, much older than me.
That helps too.
I mean, it's a totally different mindset when you step into the world in December of 1981 and your youngest grandparent at that day is 71 years old.
Yeah.
That's the baby.
Yeah.
And goes up from there because, as we've talked through 1,000 times, my dad's mom and dad were born in 1896, 1898.
That feels so far away.
Yeah. And my mom's mom and dad was born in 1906 and 1910. Yeah. So the youngest one being my grandmother, which was the one I was around the most because 3 out of 4 of my grandparents died in 1984 when I was only 3. She was around until I was 28.
Was your grandma religious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not even.
What? Yeah, I've
not
seen
even.
her Bible.
I don't even
I've
use
seen
the
her
word
Bible.
religious. She just came up in the heart of the hardest times to live in modern society. I mean, this is a woman. Well, I mean, this is a woman that literally was in her early 30s in the midst of the Great Depression.
Yeah.
She was 2 when the Titanic sank.
Mm.
I mean, this kind of just to kind of give the
It's been
throwback
87 years.
of what this woman's
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
in the 99 years that she was on this planet.
Mm.
So there's no way you can live around and be around an individual with that kind of a ironclad mentality
And
who
realize,
had to learn this matters, this doesn't.
yeah, you had to have a dependence on God.
100%.
Mm.
Because you're talking about a person who literally came up when, food rations were a thing.
Yeah.
People did not literally have $1 to their name.
Mm.
And there was no societal dependence. You didn't have welfare. There wasn't a handout to be had. You had churches. That was the closest thing to a handout that anybody had, and that was if the church had like food pantries, whatever it may have been at
Food
the
pantries
time.
are important. Oh, speaking of food pantries, we're going to be partnering up with Because We Care. They're going to be able to help out in case you need food or medicines, that kind of thing. So
Good.
once I get that live, we'll be able to help some people. But yeah, no, food pantries are important because when you have absolutely nothing, and there are people that are like, "Hey, we've stored up for this. We prepared for
Yep.
this." You think about just how much that helps when you have absolutely nothing and there's somewhere you can turn.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a reservoir that otherwise runs dry. If there's no one,
Joseph,
that's
what I was
the
trying to-
danger of self when you realize that you can't do it all on your own, and there is facets of your life that are always going to incorporate others.
Yeah.
That me mentality slowly starts to die, and the quicker you can die to self, you will be in a much better place mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually than almost anything else that can happen to you in your entire life. Because when you get yourself out of the way,
Yeah.
then something else is in the way, and that is the way, which becomes your way.
Yahweh.
Yahweh. Yes, Yahweh.
You gonna be doing any New Year's resolutions?
No.
No?
Absolutely not. I'm still human.
Okay,
I'm still
I am
absolutely
gonna.
terrible
I'm
at
putting
it.
this out
so
there. So if I say it, I gotta do it. I'm gonna start going to the gym. I know I say it. I've had a membership for 2 years and haven't even gone twice. Okay, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna start getting fit. All right. I saw my favorite pastor started a whole thing. He's running like a whole new gym membership thing. I don't know. It just feels like the right time to start getting into
if you
shape.
can make it stick, kudos to you. I've been paying for that black card membership for 2 years solid.
You just go for the massage.
And it's absolutely
You just
failed
go for the massage.
miserably. That's about $680 that Planet Fitness has made off of
Is that
me
how much that is?
scot free. Yeah, it's $25 a month we're paying on that sucker. So,
Well,
but
I get to go to
it
every
is what
gym
it
though.
is. Yeah, you can go anywhere.
I mean, I'm driving around after work. I'm usually
you
by
have
a
access
gym.
to all of them.
Yeah, and I'm either in Florence or so.
Yeah.
If you see me at the gym and you're like, "Is he actually working out?" and I'm doing it wrong, just don't tell me. All right, just be like, "He's at least trying." Oh, man, one time I was at the gym and this guy walks up. He's like, "You're doing that wrong," and I said, "Did I ask you?" And he's like, "Hey, you can keep messing it up, or you can learn." And I was like, "Ugh."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know. I'm excited. We'll see. If I become muscular, I'll let you know. I don't know about that. I've had an exercise ball in my closet for years that I don't even remember I have. So at least I'm not doing like aerobics or something.
Yeah.
Jazzercise.
But
Is that coming back? I feel like jazzercise. Was that called now Pilates? Isn't it the same thing?
I don't think that Jane Fonda would ever tie her name to anything related to Pilates, but she might. She's a little older. The fact that she is the age she is and can actually function and move is a testament to the fact of what she
Body
did for many years.
in motion.
Stays in motion.
Stays in motion.
Yes, it does.
All right. Well, I think this was a good first introduction into what we're going to be talking
I think
about.
so.
We're going to have a little bit of normal conversations, a little bit of Christianity, a little bit of...
And give us feedback, please. Tell us what you would like to discuss or, what you want to hear or what you want to learn about.
Yeah,
Whatever the topics may be. If we don't know about them, we will
study.
educate.
That's one of my favorite things is like, so when I was preaching, I noticed that someone would ask me a question and I might not know the answer. And I'm not going to be that person that says, "Oh, yeah, I know the answer." I'll be like, "No, let me find the answer."
Yep.
So it would give me something to study or preach on or teach on. So, yeah, we definitely want feedback. We'd love to know what your thoughts are.
That's how you expand your horizons, regardless of what it is. Learn together.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be our first episode. You might have gotten bored halfway through. I don't know. You might have loved it. I don't know. Tell us what you think and what can we do to make it better. So
You can be honest. We won't be. I've worked retail 26 years, so if you manage to hurt my feelings,
Yeah.
I will write you a personal letter, but don't set by the mailbox.
nah.
So
But, we appreciate you listening. We do have an outro that I'm going to play for you guys. This is the first time you will see the outro unless you've been watching some of the sermons. So let me know what you guys think about that. We can also make it shorter if needed. All right. I appreciate you guys. Richie, anything else?
sounds good to me.
All right.
This message is brought to you by the Losing Faith Digital Sanctuary. If this encouraged your heart, please share this video, like it, and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to get a copy of Losing Faith, Navigating the Chessboard of Doubt and Faith, visit losingfaithbook.com. If you want to help us share hope with others, find out how at losingfaithbook.com/outreach. And to stay connected, follow us at bio.site/losingfaith.